welcome everybody to our creative gratitude writing workshop. I'm really pleased this morning to be joined by Laura Elliot. And Laura is I'm going to read this so I get it right, a multidisciplinary artist. She facilitates a lot of workshops using a sort of lighthearted approach to helping people contemplate deep questions, which is an amazing thing to do. Because I think if cancer doesn't give us the opportunity to contemplate deep questions, not much does. Laura's also working on a project called 100 Ways to Say Goodbye. And we're just really grateful that she's joined us this morning, and grateful to all of you for being here. Just quick kind of housekeeping stuff. If you're joining us via the conference platform CrowdComs, if you have any trouble with Zoom, either video or audio, there is a Zoom link at the bottom. You could come out of CrowdComs and just join via Zoom normally. That helped some people yesterday. Also, if you're having trouble with what you're looking at, there is a view button in the upper right-hand corner that you can use, so either kind of gallery or speaker view. And that's it. We've got the chat open if anyone's got any problems to pop them in there. Hopefully you all brought some paper and colored pencils or pens or markers. If not, you've still got time to go and run and get them. But Laura, I'm going to hand over to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Amazing. Thank you so much for the introduction. Hello, everyone. It is lovely to see you here. So yeah, a little bit more about me. So I am a multidisciplinary artist, which is a bit of a mouthful, but basically it means that I like to play with different kinds of art. So mostly at the moment, that is illustration, graphic design, performance, bit of a mishmash really, and I like to see how it all goes together in different ways. And I particularly love using different creative techniques to access creativity. So that's really a fancy way of saying that I like to play. So it's using this kind of playfulness, I think, that really helps us access what we need to explore these deep questions. And by using play, you can't do it wrong, which is one thing I particularly love about it. And it's inviting because it's fun. So today we're going to be playing with gratitude. I'd also like to say a quick shout out and hello to Marion, who's here today. So Marion is from Brass Bathtub, a community theatre company, and she has been helping me with this workshop, and I'm an associate artist for Brass Bathtub. So a little bit about the session that we're going to do today. So it was listed as a creative writing and drawing workshop, but disclaimer, you need to be good at neither. So you don't need to be able to draw or write properly or in any other way. So however you draw and however you write, that's welcome. So we'll be leading with a warm-up. We'll have a quick warm-up, and I'll give you drawing prompts for a variety of things that we're grateful for. And I'll take you through writing activities for each thing. We'll then round off with a gratitude letter. And after we've been through our playtime with gratitude, we'll have a little time for reflection and sharing if you feel so inclined, but there's no obligation to share with anyone, either here or at home. This space is entirely for you. And on the subject of space, if you're more comfortable with your camera off, that's fine, but it is lovely to see your faces here with us. So either way you're most comfortable is great. So as it's a gratitude workshop, I'd like to lead off by saying thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. It is lovely to have you here to share this space with each other in gratitude on this Sunday morning. And I'd like to give a little gratitude fact. So why are we doing gratitude? I think it's important to practice it because actually, as humans, we are hardwired to focus on negativity. So it's a survival instinct, really. It's by avoiding negative things that we've managed to continue as we have for so long. So if you find gratitude hard, that's why. And that's also why it's so important to practice it. So that's why gratitude is a fantastic thing. So does everyone have pen, paper, pencils before we get cracking? So have a quick scramble now if you need it. Cool. So what I'd like us to do is for our warm-up, we're going to have a breathing exercise. So that will help us sort of land us into the room. So just to settle into the space that we're in. And what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in through our nose and we're going to sigh out through our mouth. So we'll just have a couple of breaths, taking it in through the nose. And as we sigh out through our mouth, we just let our body soften, just feel a little bit soggy, sit into the space. Have another breath in through the nose. Breathing out through the mouth. We'll just have one more. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. Nice. So, for our first drawing warm-up exercise, I'd like you to take whatever drawing utensil you have in your non-dominant hand. So if you normally write with one hand, I want you to have your drawing utensil, your pen, your pencil in your other hand. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take your line for a walk. So our pen stays on the page and we're going to let our pen just go for a walk across the page. So if you let it crisscross and wander around. And if you feel like you want to do a bit of a scribble, if you're feeling scribbly feels right to you now, do a bit of a scribble. Or if you just want to take it slow, meandering, little walk across the page. Does it feel loopy or straight? Bringing your line to crisscross around itself. Looping and squiggling. The pen's just letting your hand go where it wants to go. We're going to bring our line to a stop when we're ready. Let's find a way to finish the line. So we're going to crack on with our drawing and our gratitudes now. So I'd like you to divide your page into 4 columns. So you can, and you're allowed to switch your pencil back to your other hand that you're more confident in, that's fine.
Is this the page we've just drawn on, or a new page?
So maybe do a new page if you've got a new page.
We're not going over the top of our squiggles.
No. So you have our 4 columns. And I'm going to ask you to draw some things and to write some things. So we're going to be doing quick timed exercises, so about 2 to 3 minutes per instruction. And what we'll likely create is a series of bad drawings. So that's fine. That's like full disclaimer. We're not trying to create a masterpiece. So our writing may also be messy, scrawly, spelled incorrectly, also fine. So the exercises are intended to be fast because it stops us from overthinking. So the idea is to just get the first thing that pops into your brain onto paper. So we're going to start with our gratitudes. Take a moment to look around your room. Just observe what's here with you now. And I'd like you to draw any 4 objects that you see around you right now. So with each object, spend a moment to really look at it as if you're looking at it for the first time. At the top of each column, draw 1 thing per column. So we've only got a couple of minutes to do this. Simple bad drawings are fine, if not actively encouraged. And if you didn't quite manage 4 drawings, that's fine, but we're going to try and aim for 4. So we have a couple of minutes to do that. So that's about 1 minute. I'll keep going for another one. Okay, we just find a way to bring that to a close. So underneath each of those 4 things, we're going to write a little thank you note. If you want to cherry pick the order that you do it in, that's fine if you're drawn to one over the others. And an example might be, so I've got my mug here. So I might say, dear mug, thank you for holding my tea so I don't have to drink it out of my hands. So you can be as flippant or as meaningful as you want. So we'll have another couple of minutes to write our thank you notes to our objects.
I've done a truly awful drawing of a pen, Laura.
Excellent. I like the descriptor, truly awful.
I mean, yeah. It's slightly better than the one I did of a mug, I guess, but yeah. This is why I'm not an artist.
Oh, I believe we're all artists. Okay, so we could just bring our thank you notes to a close, and not to worry if you haven't written a thank you note to all of them. So we're going to do a similar thing with another 4 objects and then thank you note underneath that. So if you've got room on your page to carry on underneath in your 4 columns, please continue to do so. If you need more space, then use more space if you've got the paper. So now we're going to think about your morning so far. So just have a little think back. Getting out of bed, did you have a shower? What did you have for breakfast? Just thinking about who have you interacted with so far today? What's happened? What have you used? We're going to think about 4 things that you're grateful for today. So I know it's only morning, so there's a couple of hints for you. So on gratitude, when I say things, it can be an object, a person, an animal, a concept, or weather. It's whatever brings you a smile or lightens your heart. So since it's only morning, and if you're struggling for a gratitude because you haven't got a whole day to pillage gratitudes for, have you considered something that isn't special? So like, was there enough milk in the fridge for breakfast? Did you have hot water in your shower? So something like that would also count. And on the drawing side, it can be symbolic or abstract. So even if it's just a shape or colour. So your drawing doesn't need to be realistic. All that matters is that you know what it represents. So for example, when I do friends and family, I would draw stick people. And there is absolutely no way you can tell who is who, but it's all that's important is that I know who that is and who that represents. So we're not going for realistic, it's merely representative. So we're going to have a couple of minutes to draw 4 things that you're grateful for so far today. Okay, so if we could find a way to finish up our drawings. And again, we're going to write thank you note to each of those things. So if you're struggling with something to say about each of the 4 things you've just drawn, you can just label the thing you've drawn and draw a love heart next to it. So that might just be an easy way in. we'll just find a way to finish up our gratitudes for those things and our little thank you notes. Okay, so just draw that to a close. Now, I'd like us to actually start on a new page. So if you've got more paper, find yourself a new page. And we're going to draw another 4 columns. And we're going to be working with the same things that we start with the top of the column. So we'll end up having 4 rows. So make sure you leave space for those and accommodate as we go through. Right, so we've done your room, done your day so far, and now we're going to open up to our gratitude to anything in your life. So at the top of each of your 4 columns, we're going to draw something that you're grateful to have in your life. So these can be big or small. So for example, a person in your life, or your non-negotiable cup of tea in the morning. I know that's true for me. So just think to anything that you want to include that perhaps that you haven't included already, or you think that actually something that you've already mentioned is still relevant. You can work with that too. So at the top of each column, we're going to draw something that you're grateful for to have in your life. So that's 4 things, 1 thing at the top of each column. We've got 1 more minute for these drawings. If you're done, maybe add a little bit of colour. So we're going to find a way to finish up our pictures. Now, as we've been doing, we're going to write a thank you note to each of these things that we've drawn. So if you find it a little bit hard to know where to start, because these might be quite big things, a couple of suggestions for you to use as you see fit. So you could make a statement about something you enjoy. So, for example, if it's a person, you could say, I love the way that we laugh together. Or if it's maybe something that, we'll use the example of a hot shower. So you could say a statement about senses or sensation. So you could say, for your hot shower, I love the way that it feels on my skin. So it's something about maybe the sight, sound, smell, taste, touch. Those would be your list of senses. And it can be any of those that are pleasing to you in that way. So for another example might be hugs. I particularly love hugs. They make me feel warm and comforted. So that could be an example as well. So we'll have a little bit longer to write on these gratitudes as we go through. So for each of the 4 things that you've drawn that you're grateful for to have in your life, we are writing a thank you note to each of those 4 things. We have about 1 more minute on this. Okay, so we're going to find a way to finish up our last sentence. We're going to keep working with these 4 things that we've chosen. And we have a few further writing exercises to do for those. So for each of those things, I'd like you to think about and note down what makes each of those things special. So to help you thinking about this, what do they represent, perhaps? So when you look a little closer, you might realize that they're special because, for example, it brings or represents comfort, love, and achievement, maybe. Maybe it gives you some control, or maybe it's a sense of connection and community. So you could use those examples, or maybe you'll think of your own. Don't think too hard about it, just pop down the first thing that comes into your head that you think of that makes those things special to you. If you just find a way to finish up. So finally, with these things, for each of those 4 things, I'd like you to think about what you're grateful to yourself for to enable those things to be in your life. So this could be you now, or if it helps you to think of it, a past self, your past self. It could be down to a decision that you made, a personality trait you have, a value you live by, the fact that you accepted a gift or help. So it's about something that you did to enable these things that you're so grateful to have in your life, something that you did to allow that to be in your life. You might also feel that you didn't particularly do anything for those things to be in your life, but I would say, for an example, family, I would say that the kind of relationship that you have with them is down to something that you did. So do you keep in touch regularly? That kind of thing. It's about something that you did that you bring to that relationship. So for each of the 4 things that we're working with, what are you grateful to your past self, yourself for, to enable those things to be in your life? Okay, so just finding a way to finish up these things that we're grateful to ourselves for, to enable these lovely things to be in our lives. What we're going to do now is we're going to move on to our thank you letter. If we can find ourselves a new bit of paper to work on, my challenge to you is to write a thank you letter to yourself. So I appreciate that some of you might be internally squirming at the thought of thanking yourself. Yeah, I can just imagine the blue scream emoji. Exactly. But I truly believe that we could all do with taking a moment to appreciate ourselves. So to help us with this, I have a particular writing technique that I'd like to share with you all. So this is called stream of consciousness writing. So what stream of consciousness writing is to write without pausing, editing, or planning what you write. We aren't concerned about proper punctuation or spelling or grammar. It's just, the idea is just to just keep writing. So it's getting your brain onto paper. So it's like a stream of consciousness. So from your brain through your hand to the paper. And we're not thinking about intellectually what we're going to say, just whatever comes out, okay? So if you run out of steam, I've got a couple of suggestions to get you going again. So I'm going to give you a starting line. So we're all going to start with the line, I'm writing a gratitude letter to you because, and then continue whatever comes. And if you find that you run out of steam, you can either use that sentence again, or you just repeat the last word that you used over and over until you get going again. So the idea is to just keep your hand moving across the page. So whilst we're doing this, we might find that there's a little voice in there that might try and squirm in there and say something negative. So we're going to say to that voice, not today, this space is only for gratitude. And then we return back to our letter using either the starting prompt or the repeating word prompt to get us going again. So we're going to have 5 minutes on this. And remember, no one has to see this, okay? So it doesn't matter what happens on the page, just keep writing. No one has to see it, okay? This is just for you. So we'll lead off with our 5 minutes. We'll start now. Our starting sentence is, I'm writing a gratitude letter to you because. So we're just going to finish up our sentences. Let's find a way to finish now. So we've got about 5 minutes or so before we start winding down. And I'd like to have a little time for reflection. So I'm going to offer some questions to you to reflect on. And I'd like to stress that all responses and emotions are welcome. So I'd like you to be curious about how you feel. And when I say curious, I mean in a sort of explorative, isn't that interesting sort of way, with simply observing what came up for us in a non-judgmental approach. So I invite you to share an answer if you like, via the chat, or if you want to unmute yourself, you're very welcome. But if you just want to have a little think about, how these questions made you feel, that's fine. It may be if you pop them in the chat, other people are feeling the same way as well. So my questions to you are, how did you find the exercise? Did anything come up that surprised you? Were you drawn to or resistant to anything in particular? So just got 5 minutes to sort of muse on those. One thing that surprised me was as I was writing about my plant in my room, that I referred to it as a friend. So I wasn't expecting that. That was a nice surprise.
I think I'm always surprised by how difficult these things can feel. I don't know if anyone else felt that way, but I think it can feel really difficult to feel grateful to yourself for things, because I don't know, if you're, I guess I'm quite a critical person. This is what I've learned through this.
Yeah, I find that for the writing exercise as well. It's just popped up in the chat. I can't believe I could write for 5 minutes solidly. So when I say 5 minutes, you think, oh God, that's forever. How am I going to fill that? But yeah, actually, it's surprising how it comes out, how quickly it comes out. So sometimes I found I like to set a timer. If you want to go for a longer time, half an hour is quite good. That tends to be 3 pages. I've heard that recommended to do 3 pages. I like to work it to half an hour.
Sounds absolutely crazy. Half an hour, like it sounds like.
I worked up to it, don't worry. But there was a book that I was working through that recommended that. It's called The Artist's Way. I absolutely love that book. I don't know if any of you are familiar with it, but yeah, she recommends that you write 3 pages. Yes, The Artist's Way. I also do find that it's, what Kleinman said, we don't often thank ourselves. I think it's a very unused muscle, I suppose, and that's why it's good to practice. So it's definitely good to take stock of how responsible we are for the nice things in our life. Oh, this is brilliant. It's lovely to see the things that you guys are saying. Yeah, it's great. I think with the free writing, also another word for stream of consciousness, I think it helps the nice things come out when you're not trying to intellectualize it. I think it's a fantastic tool, really. This is lovely to see what you're saying. So yeah, Kerry, for surprised how actions you've taken in the past related to your present circumstances. Yeah, like you guys have this inner amazingness that you need to kind of thank yourselves for. Your life is because you are a participant in it, and these wonderful things are because you bring them into your life. So well done. Great. And finally, I'm glad you found Leanne, those exercises great. And I'm so glad that things came to you easily. And please, I recommend that these exercises are for you to take away and use again and again. Yeah, this is great. Right. Thank you so much for sharing. It's really lovely to see how you have really taken these exercises and to use them for yourself. So I'm going to start wrapping up now, but I'd like to say that however you felt, everything is welcome. So be where you're at is what I'd like to say, is sort of final thoughts. I know that gratitude is supposed, on the surface, it's all positive, but I certainly know that I can get misty-eyed when I'm thinking about these things. So it can be deep. It can be deep. And however you feel about that is fine. Just allow yourself space and be gentle with whatever comes up for you. So this is great. Thank you so much for sharing, everyone. We're going to start wrapping up, but on those sort of final notes for the reflection, like I say, those exercises are for you to use. Please, take them away with you and use them beyond this workshop. So if you'd like to spend more time contemplating the answers to the questions that I asked about how you found these gratitude exercises, I fully recommend doing more stream of consciousness writing, just to help yourself reflect. I find that when we try and intellectually think our answers through, we can kind of get in our own way. So stream of consciousness is a great way of giving the thoughts in your brain somewhere else to live, and you can see them a bit more objectively where on the page. So I find that endlessly helpful. So if you need to give yourself a timer, set a timer for 5 minutes or half an hour, as I've done, whatever suits you or whatever you've got time for, fantastic. Whatever works for you, make it like that. That's your space. That is your space that you are giving yourself. You're gifting yourself that space. So you can use that time for stream of consciousness writing. And on the point of gratitude, please use these gratitude exercises, again, beyond the workshop. So sometimes you can spend time at the end of the day, considering the day that you've had, thinking about the things that you're grateful for and writing them down like a journal entry. I do that sometimes. Otherwise, a bit more of a mindfulness approach would be to acknowledge things as they happen in the day. So you could just take a moment to consciously think, that was really nice, and just spend a moment to mark it. So I'd like us to wind down with the exercise that we started with, and we're going to use our non-dominant hand to take our line for a walk. So find yourself a space on your page, and we're going to take our pen, pencil, whichever, pop it on your bit of paper and just leave your line, your hand, to take it where it wants, where it feels right. Allow it to crisscross along itself. Maybe it's feeling scribbly, maybe it's feeling loopy and a bit more loose. Just allow your hand to drift wherever feels comfortable and feels right for you. We'll just bring that to a close, finish our line. And again, I'd like to thank you all so much for spending your Sunday morning with me and with us, sharing this space.